Welcome back to the Python tutorial. So in this video tutorial I'm going to explain you the Python functions. So here we can understand the what is Python functions and how to declare the functions and like how to pass the parameters and how to call the functions. So in detail we will going to explain in this tutorial. Like functions are the most like important aspects in the Python applications. So functions like can be organized like a block of reusable code, which means we can reuse the code again and again. So instead of writing the code again and again, so we can reuse the code by defining the functions. So which can be whenever we can when we call function, that time only it will executes. And Python allows us to like to divide the large program into the basic like a building blocks, so small functions, that is called functions. So the divided functionality we can call as the functions, sub functions, like that. So like functions contains a set of programming statements like enclosed by the curly braces. So that is the functions. And functions in Python, functions can be called multiple times, which means we can call any number of times. So and the functionality main aim is to provide the code reusability and modularity of the Python program. So it helps us to reuse the code. So there are two types of functions in Python, mainly user-defined functions and the built-in functions. So we are going to explain each in separately. So in this concept now I'm going to define what is functions and how to declare functions. So some of the concept related to the functions. Now I'm going to explain you then what is the advantages of using the functions in Python. So using functions, we can avoid the rewriting the same logic or a code again and again, and we can call Python functions at multiple times in a program at anywhere in the program. So that is the advantage, and we can track that like you can track a large Python program easily, like when it is divided into multiple functions. So when we divide the multiple functions, so it will become easier to understand us and use the code again and again. And as I explained, the reusability is the main achievement in Python for using the functions. And like in functions, we can call always overrated in Python programming. So that is the advantages. Now I'm going to explain how to create a functions in Python. So to create Python functions, we are using the keyword called def here. So by using def keyword, we are creating the functions. Like example, def my function and parameter and a function block and return expressions. So now I will give a simple syntax here, so you can understand the how to write the functions and how to call the functions. So I will give the in node sections. I will give the syntax of function. So this is the syntax for Python functions. We can see that. So here def is the keyword to define the functions, and my function is the function name whichever I want to define. This is a parameter list. We can pass the parameter, and this is the block of statements, and this is the return statement, whatever expression we want to return. So this is the basic syntax of Python, creating the functions. So now I will demonstrate one example so that we can understand the how functions works. Next. So next I will give one simple example how to define functions in Python. Def, this is the my function. My function is the my function name. So I'm passing nothing here. So I am printing this is function. So as I told earlier, if I run, it will not give any output because I am not calling this function. So we have to, in order to access this inside the method, so we have to call C. You can see that we will not get any output. To get this output, we have to call these functions. Now I am going to explain you how to call the functions. To call functions, we use the function name followed by the parenthesis. So now I will give an example how to call the functions. Here, before calling that functions, so I will explain a little bit more here. Example like this syntax, and what are the what each statement, and how to use, what is the uses of that each statement. So as I explained here, def is the keyword, so that is used to define the function name, and the identifier rules must be follows the function name here. And like to accept the parameter like as an argument, so we are passing the parameter as a here argument as a parameter, and they can be optional. If you want, you can pass, or it is not a mandatory, it's a optional things. And like and functional block started with the semicolon, so at the last here, so I mentioned, so I have to give semicolon here, and this is the syntax. So I have to use that statement, sorry, colon. And block statement must be at the same indentations, like it should be give one after the line, after entering that, after creating that function you should enter, and then so this should be indentations. So this is functions declaration, sorry, like indentations we follow. So return statement, like the return statement is to return the any values of a function can have any only one return statement. In Python only return function can has only one return statement. Okay, I hope you understand this one. Now next I will going to explain how to call the functions. To call functions, we are using a that function whatever are defined in the name, function name, so we have to call with that name with the help of parentheses. So this is the syntax of calling. So here I will show you, this is the my function is the function name. Now I will calling these functions with the help of parentheses. So if I use this one, this is the calling of the functions. So now in this example I will call this one. So this is my function, so I am calling my functions. Now if I after calling these my functions, so whatever present inside the function, so those statement will be executed. So now we will get to know that this is the functions. Now I got the answer as a this is function. So when you call the function, that time only it will execute inside the statements, else it will not execute anything. So this is the simple calling of functions. Next I will explain return statement. Like in Python we have only one return statement, as I already explained you. So here now I will explain you the return statement with examples. So I will define a functions called add is the my function name, and I will pass, sorry, here I have to give colon. So I will pass the declare variable a is equal to 10 and b is equal to 20, a is equal to b is equal to 10, and c is equal to a plus b. I am performing the addition operation here. So I'm returning the c value here. Now so I have to call the functions by using add. Now I will print these functions. So if I print, I will get the output as 30. So I will comment this code as of now. So you can notice here, so I am calling the add functions. Sorry, this is the invalid sentence. Okay, now 20. So 10 plus 20 is equal to 30. So I have to get output as 30. So this is the simple calling the function with return statement. Now I am going to explain you next concept in functions. So now we got to know how to call functions, how to define functions, how to call functions, and how to use the return statement in functions. Next I'm going to explain it. I'm going to explain it without a return statement how to call the functions. So without using the return statement, how to call the functions. If I remove this same function, I will copy and I will paste. So this is the return instead of return. So I will once again instead of return statement. So now I'm not using any return statement now. So if I return, it will give nothing or it will give none. So you can notice here, so it will give none because I'm not returning the anything to the functions. If I return something to the function, then only the output will be displayed. So here I'm not returning any values to the function, so it will give the none as the values. So next I'm going to explain you like how to pass like argument in functions. Like we have the argument, like we can pass the argument to the functions. So like arguments are specified in the parentheses. So we are defining the function with the parentheses. Inside the parentheses we are passing the parameter or parentheses. So we can pass any number of arguments, but they must be separated with a comma. So we can pass n number of arguments with the help of comma separator operator. Now I will show you an example how to pass the parameter with the help of example. So as of now I will comment this code, and here I will declare one function called function, and I will passing the parameter as a name here. I am printing name here. Hello. And I'm printing like a name here. So I have to call these functions. The function name is function and pass the parameter here. So for example, I will pass Ram. So this is the passing parameter in the functions. So now I will go and run this program. So we can see that I'll go to the hello plus name. I'm concatenating this one with the name parameter. So this is the passing parameter in the functions. So next I'm going to in next example, so I will going to pass the two variables or two parameters, like performing the one sum of additions, performing the addition operations in Python. So here is the example. So I will comment this code. So this is I'm taking one example. So I defined the function called a sum with the a and b are two are the parameters here, and I'm taking the input whatever I'm passing the values in the function as a parameter. So I'm taking input from the user. So I'm asking user to enter the input integer value for a and value for b. Next, in this here I'm computing the sum is equal to a plus b. I'm calling the functions and passing the variables. Whatever value entered by the user, I'm passing those value to the functions. So it will compute the sum of two numbers. So I am returning here. So in earlier example, I was not returning anything to the function. That's why it's printing a none value. But whereas here I am returning a function. So it will compute and perform the addition operations. Now I will run this program. So it will ask the enter a values. So I will write 20, and so it will ask b value. So sum is 30. So we can see that. So first of all I declared the function called def sum. This is a function name. These two are the parameters. I'm passing a and b. I'm returning functions to the a plus b. I'm performing a plus b addition and returning to the functions. Now I'm here, I'm asking the user to enter the a and b values. So whatever user entered the values, those value I'm calling in, sending in sending is a parameter, so here I'm sending there. So here entered value will be going here, so this value and computed in here. This is the example of passing two values in parameter. So now in this next I'm going to explain you types of argument in function in Python. So basically we are using the four types of arguments in Python. First one is the like a required arguments and a keyword arguments and a default arguments and a variable length arguments. So required arguments are nothing but like, so we have to pass compulsory one argument, that is called a required arguments. So like already I demonstrated this example. This is the, yeah, this example is the considered as the required arguments. And next one is the like uh, sorry, yeah, next one is the keyword arguments. So in keyword arguments, so now we completed the required arguments. Now I'm here, I'm explaining you default arguments. So in Python, it allows us to initialize the arguments in at the function definition itself. So if the value of the argument is not provided, so that will be considered as the default at the time of function call. So at the argument can be like initialized with the value given in the function definition itself. And if the argument is not specified at the function call, so it will take as a default arguments. Now I will demonstrate one example, so we'll get to know how to take the default arguments. So here, def my function, this is a function name with, okay, sorry, my system got stuck. So now I am defining the function called a print time. Okay. So here I am passing the name as the parameter and passing the value, default value as the 22. Age is equal to 22. So now I am printing the here name with age. So I am calling the function. So this is the calling function. So print name, I am passing name is equal to John. So because this is a default, age is here default. So already I passed in function itself. So this is called default arguments. So you can see that this is the output of the functions. Now now I will explain you how to work with the keyword arguments. Like, so now here in this next I'll explain you variable length arguments. So in larger project, so what happens in larger project, like sometimes we may not know with how many number of arguments we are passing in advance. So in such cases, Python provides us to like a flexibility, so we can pass the any number of parameter by using the comma separators values. So internally it's treated as a so tuples, like however you're defining in the like declaring the tuples in the Python dictionary, like Python data types. So it like similarly it treats as the Python tuples at the function call. So by using the variable length arguments, we can pass any number of arguments. And in variable length, so we are using the star args, like that is the called arguments or a variable name. So I will give an example so you can understand here. So this is the example of variable length arguments. So here print time is the my function name, and this is the I'm passing the variable length arguments. So I have to use here a star, so that is called a star keyword argument or variable length arguments. No, I can printing the type of name, so it will print a tuple. So now I'm passing the arguments here, for I'm taking the for loop and iterating the names. So here I'm calling that functions, so I pass the these names. So because this is the variable length, so there is no fixed in the keywords. Because if I only pass the name, so it will gives the error because I have to pass only one value, whereas I am passing the variable length, that is using arguments, that is star arguments, that is called a keyword, the variable length arguments. If I run the program, so now I will get the all the names of the persons. So this is the usage of keyword argument or a variable length argument. Next, so next I am going to explain you how to use the keyword arguments. So in Python we have the keyword arguments. So keyword arguments is you need to like represent with a double star. So that is the that is in the form of dictionary or a key value pair. So next, like in Python, we have to call the function with the keyword arguments. This kind of functions like with enable us to like pass the arguments in the form of random order. So there is no sequence in this here. So we can pass in any orders. So however we want, we can pass. So the name of the argument like here is treated as a keyword. So and it match the that functions whenever that match the functions. So that will be calling in the definitions. So that are the function calling definitions. And if the if the same matches found, then the arguments are copied to the function definitions. So now I'll demonstrate an example. So we'll get to know. So now I'll take on an example. This is the keyword argument using double asterisk. So this is the usage of keyword arguments. For keyword arguments, we have to use the double asterisk, and for a variable keyword variable length arguments, for only one asterisk is enough. So now I'm declaring the food is the function name here, and this is the keyword arguments. So I'm passing the double asterisk. Now here in this statement, I am printing the keywords. So I'm calling the functions food. When I call the function food, it will take the whatever we are passing that values in the function. So I'm passing the argument here, a is equal to apple. So this is a passing parameter. So when I call this function, so it will depend on how many arguments you are passing, that many arguments will be printing here. So this is the in the form of key value pair. So this is the class of dictionary, like whereas in the variable length keyword, that is the class of tuples. So in next statement, so I am taking the fruit and I am assigning value to orange and vegetables and carrot. So this is like this becomes the keys. Fruit become in this statement. Fruits becomes the orange and vegetable becomes the carrot. Carrot. These are the keys. Where vegetables and fruits are the keys, and orange and carrot are the values in this here. So this is the usage of keyword arguments. So I hope you have understood this concept. Thank you. Welcome back to the Python tutorials. So in this video tutorial, I'm going to explain you Python inbuilt functions, like why we are using the inbuilt functions and what is the use of that user using the inbuilt functions, and some of the most important inbuilt functions in Python. So first we need to understand what is inbuilt functions. So inbuilt functions like are the predefined functions. So we need to only use the or we need to use or import the function in order to use their functionality. So Python interpreter like has the several functional functions, so that are present for us to use only. So we not we have to import those functions. So these functions are called as inbuilt functions. In Python, like we have the several inbuilt functions. Like some of the Python ABC functions. So the ABC function, like it returns the absolute value of the number. So it takes only one argument, and it will be returned like a whole the which number we are passing, whose absolute value will be returned. And like in the argument, whatever we are passing, that will be integer and floating point number. Like if the argument is complex number, then the absolute returns its magnitude value. So now I am going to show an example with. So now I will give you an example how the absolute works in Python. So I will take one variable here. Sorry, x is equal to some value I will take. So you have to use here functions a, b, c. That is the absolute. And I have to pass the value. Some I will pass some minus value here. 7.8. Okay. Now I will print the value here. Print the absolute value. Sorry, it is not ABC, it's ABS absolute. That's what it's giving me error. Okay, now you got to know that this is the absolute. So now I am passing the minus value here. So you can notice here the output is, see, we are getting result in positive number. So if I passing the value in negative, it will getting the absolutely return value as in positive. Next. So next I will take only one integer value. So now this is floating value. So now I will demonstrate one integer value. So I will pass one integer negative value. So I will get the absolute result of in positive. Now I will take one z variable here, then abs. Here I will pass minus 20. Now I will print the z here. So we can notice here I will get the output is 20, positive 20, because I pass the negative here. So now if I pass positive here, so the answer will be like whatever the value we are passing, so that is printing same as it is, because it will absolute like works like a Python. In Python, absolute means it takes like a negative number or a floating negative number, so that will be converted and printed in a negative positive number. So sorry, positive. So this is the usage of absolute functions in Python. So next, I'll going to explain you. Next function is, okay. After that, okay. After all is the one functions. So in Python, like all functions except an integer, like it accepts the iterable objects, like iterable objects in the sense like list, dictionary. So these the data types comes under iterable objects. So it returns true if if all the items in past iterable are true. Otherwise, it returns the false. So if the iterable object is empty, then all function returns true only. So I will give one example, like how to use the all functions. So now I will take one variable and I will assign the some values in list. So this is the representation of list, and I am using the list here to demonstrate all. Next, I am printing these values with the help of all functions. Print, see, you can type, you will get to know the, see, this is prompting automatically. So all have to take the variable. So we are storing values in a variable. So now I am printing the a variable here. So we'll get to know. So you see, I'll comment this one true, because this is the list. So we are able to iterate these values. So if it is iterable these list values, so we will get the output as true. If not iterable, so we will get output as false. Now I will take different data types. So we'll get to know whether, so this is b, and I'm printing the b here. You have to use all functions, right? We are working on all functions, so print to the variable b. Now see, we can iterate the tuple values also. I will print the class of these variables here. Type of, so it belong to which type, we will get to know details. See, these are the boolean. Okay, one second. So I will take differently, then only you will get to know the details, like whether it is a class list or whether it is a class of tuples or whatever. So which term I will get to the detail what type of data it is. Now I will print the type of A, and I will print the type of B. So this detail shows us the declared variable is defined to like C as I told. So list can be iteratable, so and tuple also iteratable. So that's why it's giving true answer. So I will show one more example with different data types. So S is equal to, I will take one S and I will specify the string here, hello world, and I will print the I'll print the type of S. So the class should be string. Now I will print the all of S. So now we can see whether the output will be true or false. See, string also we can iterate. So it's giving true. So this is the usage of all functions in Python. So next one we have the bin functions, that is used to return the binary representation of specified integer number. So which number we are want to like we for like if I pass the variable for variable if I assign the value as integer, so I will get the respective numbers in binary format. So like I will give an example, which means in simple words. So if I pass the values as integer in the variable, so like this. So this is a is the variable which holds the integer value. So now I want to know about the this 10 number, this is the number 10's binary number, means binary format. So for that we have the inbuilt functions called bin. So how to do that one? So now I will show here. So I will use the b variable to hold the values, and I will use the functions called bin, and I will pass the which variable. So 10 is stored in which variable? Here 10 is stored in a variable, so I will pass here a variable. So these output is stored in which variable? Now I am storing in b variable. So now I have to print b variable, so we will get to the binary representation of the 10 number. See, this is the representation of binary number, and I can see I will change the number 5. So you can see that this is the representations of binary. Now next going to I will going to explain next for inbuilt function, that is Python bool functions. So Python bool functions, like it used to convert the value to the boolean, either true or false. So we can use the bool functions. So now I will give an example. So I will take one example and I will demonstrate like whether it is a boolean or not. So right now I will comment this one. So this is I'm taking the test one. So this is test one is the declaring empty string, empty list. So I don't have any values. So I'm taking this test one, printing here, and this is the easily combining with I'm using the bool functions here, bool of test one. So clearly I can remove this all things. So just I'll show them. So how bool functions work? See, this is I have to take call the bool functions, inbuilt functions, and pass the values like which variable we want to check. So now I will going to run this program. So you can notice that this is false. So now I will check one example with the true values. So if I pass like this is for false condition. Now I will take one for true conditions. So I will pass the values in the list. So this is the 0. So print p of boolean. Then I have to pass the this variable, that is t. Now we will get to the output as true. See, 0 we can true. So now I will change some values here. Now I will make changes 0 to 1. So now output I will getting it true only. So if I pass 3 means here, so output will be getting me as true. If I nothing I can pass, that time it will give the error. So now I will pass the in a negative number. So for that also I will getting the true. So if nothing is passed, so that time we will get to the. So now I will false. False means 0. So false means in 0. If I passing 0, at least 0 or 1 number, that will result at true. If nothing is there, then obviously the output will be false only. So this is the usage of Boolean functions in Python. Next, I am going to explain you exe functions. So exe execute function, that is, so in Python we have exe functions used like for the dynamically execution of Python programs, so which can be like either a string like our object code, and like it can be accept any large block of code, unlike like a eval functions, so which only accept the single expressions. So now I will give an example here. So how exe functions works here. Now I will take one variable x is equal to some lesson values, and I will use the exe function. So this is execute functions with. So I will take and I will compare with some values. Okay. So we have to use comma here. Print. So I will print and compare. I will x is equal to 8. That is, so x I am stored in 8 variable, and here I have to use the comma both side. Here I have to use comma both side. Then I'll print. So now we can notice here. So output will be true. See, because x is equal to 8, so these both are true. So I'm this is using execute functions. So execute functions used to execute the dynamically execution of the Python program, either like object code or like or a block of code. So next we have the sum inbuilt functions called sum. So sum with parentheses. The sum functions used to like calculate the get to the or calculate or get to the sum of the numbers of an iterable, like that is list. So now I will going to demonstrate with examples how to use inbuilt sum function, so to get the sum of numbers. So s is equal to sum of. So this is the list 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is the list. So I will print the s variable. So now output will be, I have to get output as 10. See, this is the usage of sum functions. So I got the output as sum, output as 10. Right, we have the max and min functions. So I will show how to use max and min functions. So I will demonstrate with examples. I will take one simple list. S is equal to, I'll also specify some values here. So I will print the s variable, and I will use the sum function. So now I will use the max functions, max of, so that variable I have to pass, and I'll find the minimum of s. So this prints us maximum and minimum value in the list. See, maximum is the 54 and minimum is the 1 value. This is the usage of max and min functions in Python. These are the inbuilt functions in Python. Next important is one more, we have the ASCII functions. So ASCII functions are used to return the string containing the printable representation of an objective. So we can, I'll show here one example how this ASCII function will works in Python. So now I have taken the example. This one is the I am for demonstrating the ASCII functions, inbuilt functions. I have taken the simple. This is the normal text. Okay, Python is the interesting. This is the normal text, and I am printing with the ASCII function. So this is a text. So now here what I'm taking the one more other text, like other text Python. See here I am using the some O I am using like some functionality to print the ASCII of that one or readable format of the string. So I have using the ASCII functions. Now we can see that. So I'm printing that. I will comment this line. So I will run this program. See, you can see this. This is the ASCII of the AO, because this O is I'm returning in the format. This is the usage of ASCII character, ASCII functions in the Pythons. And next we have eval functions. So eval function is a one of the function that is like this did use for, like when we passing the value, that time we have to specify whether if I'm passing integer value, so I have to take int input. If I'm passing string value, so just I have to pass the input, that's it. So it will be confusing. So if I'm using the eval functions, you can pass whichever value you want, like tuple, like string or integer, whichever number you want to pass, you can pass by using eval functions. So now I will show how to use the eval functions in the Python. And like in eval functions, it parses the expression passed to it, like whatever expression you are passing, it parses that one and returns the Python expressions code within that program. So now I will explain you how to use eval functions. So as of now, I will comment this code. So x is equal to some values I will take, and I will print I will print eval of. So see, we can see here eval, we can pass source, global and local. Eval of, so I will concatenate with x plus 1. So output should be 9. So x already is a 8, and I am printing 9. One more, adding one more value, that is 9. So in other words, I will show one more example how to how eval function works in Python. So now I will take, see, yeah, I will take a is equal to input, enter the number. I'm taking this is number. So and I am printing that print a, and I'll again print the type of a, and then I will print the variable value. So you can see here. So it's asking user to enter the value. So I will print, I'll 6. So this is the string, because in Python everything will be defined objects or a string. So it consider string. Now if I want to change here, so I have to use the int functions. See, int functions. So now it becomes the integer. Enter the number 8. So see, you can see the class int. This is the 8 is the integer. So I have to change, like if I am using the integer, I have to give here int. If I am not using, that will default consider as string. So if I am using float, if I have to use here float. To overcome this problem, we have the functions called eval. Now I will show how to use the eval functions with taking input from the user. So here I am using eval of input. So you can take the input from the user. So enter number. I'm asking user to enter the number, and I'm printing the number, printing the type of number, like user what type of data type number entered. So after that I'll printing that number. So now you can notice here, based on whichever number I'm entering here, that will be converting automatically. So this is the functionality of eval functions. Now I will find this is the class int, and now I will run one more time and I will pass the string value. So you can see that I'm taking Ramesh as a name. So sorry, I have to use comma here. I have to use the double quotations. So you can notice here, this is the string. So based on whichever value you provide, that will be taken considering, and that will be evaluated by the eval functions. Now I will give one more example. I will show floating pointer. Like this is the 8.5 is the floating, so it should be 8.5 with the class float. See, so if I would, or if I want to use float, I have to change here float. So this is the headache. For that purpose, eval function is introduced in the Python. I hope. Yeah, next functions. So next we have the float functions. Like as I told, int and float. Like if we want to pass the floating value, so we use the float functions. So instead of int input, we take the float input. So that considers the floating value of the number. Next, yeah. So next we have the len function, that is to find the length of the number or item. So now I'll show how to use the length functions. So I will take one string or value, anything you can take. Hello world is the my string. So I am printing the length of my a. So this will print the total number of character present in the string. So this is the length functions. And in Python we have the so many inbuilt functions. So now I already shown almost the basics, like which are the important, so you can go through, and so important functions you can learn. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day. Welcome to Python tutorial. In this video tutorial I'm going to explain in this tutorial lambda functions. So in Python, what is the use of lambda functions, and what is lambda functions, and how to use. So these topics are I will going to cover in this video tutorial. So now, what is lambda functions? So in Python, lambda functions is also we called as anonymous functions, which means that is defined without the name. So there is no name for the function. So that's why it's called as anonymous functions. And Python allows us to not to declare the functions in the standard manner. That is by using the def keyword. So here we are not using any keyword. That's why it is called anonymous functions. So rather than rather anonymous functions, so are declared by using the lambda keyword. Here here the main goal is we have to use the lambda keyword instead of defining the functions like usually we use the depth keyword for defining the functions. But now in the case of lambda functions, so we are using the lambda keyword here. So however we can accept any number of arguments, but there is no restriction in the lambda functions as well, so we can pass any number of arguments, and it can be written only one value in the form of expression. So it will return only one values, so it can take any number of parameters and it will return only one values. Like in anonymous functions it will contain the like a small piece of code and like so it simulates inline functions like in C and C++. So it is not exactly inline functions. So now I will show you how to the syntax of lambda functions. So in this notes I will write the syntax of lambda functions. So here I'm going to write the lambda functions. So this is the lambda. Here lambda is the keyword. So arguments, we can pass any number of arguments here, and here is the expressions. So this is the syntax of using lambda functions. So now I will give an example how lambda functions will work. So I will take one variable x and I will use the lambda keyword. So and I will use the arguments as a and I will increment a by a with 10. So now I will be getting output is 20. So I will give here one example. So in hello world I will comment this code. So this is the I'm taking one example. So here x is the variable. So lambda is the keyword. So a is an here a is the argument and a plus 10 is the expressions which we will evaluating and returning. So the syntax is you can see here the syntax is lambda keyword and arguments and out of first expressions. So we can see here, so this is the variable I'm storing and this is the lambda is the keyword here and this is a is the argument and this is the a plus 10 is the expressions. Now I'm printing the x variable, that is whatever the operations I'm performed in this line. So I'll be storing in the x variable and I'm printing the x variable. So now I'm taking the sum and printing the x of 20 means, so x of 20 means already lambda function x as the 10 value. Now 10 plus 20 means, see you can see here already x is the 10. So now I am passing 20 to the x lambda function. So now it will become 30. So now I'll run the program. So you can see, observe here output, see. So this is the 30. 30 is the output. So you can notice here, so this is printing the type of the function. So this is the class belongs to the function lambda functions. So in this line I am printing, if I comment this line, so I will get to know only the output is 30, sum is equal to 30. So this is the, so for this is for our convenient I am using print x. So it will print the, it shows whether this belongs to the function lambda. So you can see that this is the object of the idea of the functions. So next, like so in lambda functions, so now as I earlier explained, lambda function can take any number of arguments. Now here I pass only one argument, that is a, and this one is the expressions. Now I will give an example with the two parameter how to pass multiple parameters. So as per, like in functions we can also pass the multiple parameters similarly. So in lambda functions also we were able to use the two functions, I mean two parameters. See this is the example, see lambda, this x is the variable I'm storing. So and this is the lambda is the keyword and a b are the parameters here, and I'm passing the expression, that is multiplication. So I'm performing the a star b, that is a into b. So a into b and I am calling, I mean, whatever the expressions, whatever these values are storing, this will be I'm storing in X variable and passing the two values, because here I use the two variables, means two parameters. So I'm printing the value here. Now I'm able to get the output as 30, because 5 into 6 is 30. So it's doing multiplications. Now I can subtract here. So you can notice here the output is minus 1. So because why minus 1? Because minus 6 is the greatest value. So 6 minus 5 will be minus 1. So this is the output of the program. Now I will going to demonstrate like why need to use the lambda functions and what is the use of lambda functions. So in Python, lambda functions is better, like so when we use the anonymous functions inside another functions, means like if I define functions, so inside that functions I am using the anonymous function, that is lambda functions. So for that one, it takes one argument, or it takes one argument and it will multiply with the unknown number of parameters. So for that purpose, we are using the anonymous functions. Now I will show one example, like in functions, within the inside the functions, how to use the anonymous functions. So I will give one example here. You can see. Now I will show the how to use the lambda function within the functions. So I will give an example here. So you will get to understand. So I'm taking the this one example here. So I defined the function with the my function. My function is a function name and I'm passing the parameter as n. So I'm returning lambda. So this is the lambda keyword I have to use in order to use the lambda functions. So I'm using the return function and I'm passing the this is the parameter and I'm performing the here expression. This is I'm passing expression. So I'm performing a into n. So n is here parameter which I passed to the functions here. Now here I'm taking a my doubler as the variable name and I am calling the my functions. So I am calling these functions. So when I call these functions, I have to pass the values, because I pass the in functions I pass the parameter. So I have to pass the value here. So I passed 2. Now I'm printing the my doubler. This is my doubler is a variable. So I'm storing this my functions. Whatever I called that functions result I'm storing in my doubler, and I'm taking my doubler of 22. So my doubler of 22, it will make 2, because I'm using expressions star here, that is multiplication. So 11 into 2, it will be printing 22 as the answer. So I'll run this program, so you can notice here output C. So you'll be able to get the 22, which means like whatever how many in my functions, if I passing the I'm passing n number. N means it's a variable, so I'm passing n and I'm passing value. If I'm passing two parameter here, I have to pass two parameter as well in this functions. So this is the usage of functions in lambda, for using usage of lambda function within the function main functions. So by this I will be ending the Python lambda functions. Thank you for watching this video. Welcome to Python tutorial. So in this video tutorial I'm going to explain you Python variables. So variables name is used to refer the memory locations. In Python variable, like we can also call it an identifier. So and we variables like we are using for the storing the values. So in Python we don't need to be specify the type of the variables, because like Python is a dynamically typed programming language. It means like we need not to be assign the, I mean, before assigning value to the variable, so we need not to be define the type of the variable. which means I'll show one example here. So I've created first to create the file, create a project, and then right click on the project and create new, select new, then select the file as a Python file. So already I have created file. So now, I will demonstrate the usage of the variables in Python. So now I am declaring a as a variable. So we use the assignment equal to operator for assigning value to the variable. So a is equal to 10, which means 10 value is stored in the a variable. So now I am printing the a value. So here we can see that the output will be getting you 10. So this is the name. A is the identifier or a variable name. So equal to is the operator. So we are using operator for the storing values. That 10 value is stored in the variable A. Then we are printing the variable value. So as I explained, Python is a dynamically typed programming language, which means we need not to be define the data type of the variable. Like in other programming language, if you want to declare any variable, we have to declare with the data types. So in Python, we need not to be declare. Now I will show this print. If I print type of a, so it will print the a in integer class. So now we So now we can notice this type, this value is the 10 is the integer value. So it will automatically take the data type as integer. So we can notice here. So this class is the integer. So if I change here 10 value instead of integer, we can start string. So we can notice that it will give the class as a string here because we assign the value to the string, but we are not changing anything here in data types. So that automatically that's why Python is called dynamically typed programming language. So you can notice here class is the string here. So if I want to change a string to float 1.5, so this is the float value. So it will take automatically as a float, so, and it will display the class as the float. So we can monitor here. Now let us understand object reference in Python. So object reference in the sense, if I assign value to the variable, that is called the object assigning value to the variable. So now I'm going to demonstrate here into example with example. So object reference in the sense, so I'm assigning the value 10 integer value 10 as to the variable a. So now I'm assigning assigning b to the value a. So which means, so this is the 10 is the integer value, so I assign to the a. So this 10 value is stored in a variable a name. And now I'm redefining that, I'm taking another variable as a b. That b value is that whatever value stored in the a, that will be assigning to the b. So if I print a and b, that both the value will be printing same. So because in Python, it will not create another variable, another object reference. So it will take same as declared earlier. So now we can print that. So if I print A and B, so it will be giving you 10 and 10 as the output. So we can notice here. So this is called the object reference in Python. So as I explained, so object B, variable B is not not creating one more new object. So it will refer to the existing, that is A, it will refer to the A object only. So in Python, it will not create the new again one more object. So it will refer to the existing object only. Then how to identify that object, whether it is the same object created or new object created? For that, we have the object identity functions. ID is the function. So by using ID function, we can we can differentiate whether the Python interpreter created the one more object or not. So by using id function we can do that one. And like object in python, all the objects are identified uniquely in python. So like in object will be have like have the same identifier name, and we have the built-in id is the functions, like id opening and closing is the parenthesis, that is the inbuilt functions. And that function is used to the identify the objects. So in python, so like now I'm going to demonstrate this. So as I told here in this example, so a is the variable, and 10 is the value assigned to the a variable, and now I'm referring that object b a to the same variable b. So if I print a and b, the both value will be printing same, and that is 10 and 10. So now I have a doubt how to confirm whether the object created in Python or not. So to find out that solution, so we have the ID functions. So now I will going to demonstrate that functions here. So as I told, ID is the functions. ID, then opening and closing parenthesis, then print the A variable. So now I am printing the B variable here. So yeah, you can see that so as I told, the output of this is both the 10 and 10, because the in Python interpreter it will not created the one more object. So if I run these two code, so the ID should be both A and B ID should be same, because here is not created object. If object is created, then the ID will be different. So now you can notice here, I'll run this program. Now you can notice here like both the IDs are same. So which means Python will not create the new object. If I refer that to old object only, it will take that ID only. So you can note these both the A and B ID are same. So now I will change here this. Now I will assign the value to the b equal to 20. So now if I print a and b, it will print 10 and 20 respectively. So now if I print the id of the both the variables, so the id will be different, because this b variable holds a different value. So this b is created again one more object. Now I will print the a and b value. You can notice here. So if I print now a and b value, so we will get 10 and 20. I will comment right now. So you can notice here A and B value will be 20. So if I print ID of A and B, so the ID will be both are different, because this object is created, one more new object is created Python. So now I will print these IDs. See, this A and B ID will be different. Yeah, you can notice here like this ID is 290, this ending this will be different. So which means like in Python objects will be like, if you are referring that same variable again, it will not be creating an object. If you are not referring previous object, that it will create the new object. Next, I'm going to explain you multiple assignment, which means we can assign value to the we can assign a value to the variable multiple. I mean multiple variables in a single statement, like which is also called as a multiple assignments. So we can like we can apply multiple assignment in two ways, like either by assigning single value to the multiple variable, or assigning multiple values to the multiple variables. Like consider like I'll consider the example. So assigning single value to the multiple variables, which means I'll declare the multiple variables, like example x is equal to y is equal to z equal to 50. So yeah, so now I will demonstrate here only assigning values to the. So now I will demonstrate here assigning single value to the multiple variables. So I will write heading assigning multiple, sorry, assigning single value to multiple variables. Now we can see that assigning single value means only one value multiple variables. Like now I will take the example, x is equal to y is equal to z is equal to 50. So if I print x, y, z, it will print 50, 50, 50 as the value, which means I'm assigning only one value to the all the variables. This is called a single value to the multiple variables, assigning single value to the multiple variables. Now I will print x and y, x, y, z. So you can notice here all three variables value will be printing 50 and 50, 50. So you can notice here, or I can print in next line also. So change the variable value name. So y, z. So you can notice the only one value is referring to the all the variables. Now I am going to demonstrate next statement is assigning multiple values, assigning multiple values to multiple variable, assigning multiple variables. Okay, so what happen in this, I'll take the multiple way, I'll declare multiple variables like example a, b, and c. So a, b, and c are the three variables. I'm declaring three variables here. Sorry, here no need to declare equal to. Okay, a, b, c. So three variables. I'm declaring values 10. 10 value goes to the a respectively, and put a comma here, and 20 values goes to the b and comma, and 30 value goes to the c value. So now if I print a, b, c, it will print 10, 20, 30 respectively. So I'll change variable name here, a, b, then c. So now if I run the program, so I'll be getting the 10, 20, and 30. So first now I will comment these lines. Yeah, I will comment this also. You can notice here. So I'll be getting 10, 20, and 30 because so these three are the variable I'm using. Here the main thing is I have to use the comma operator here to separate the variable name here. So I assigning the values where 10, 20, 30 to the variables. It will be storing 10 in a variable and 20 in b variable respectively. So now here I am printing those values. And the important note here is the values will be assigned in the order which variables are appear, like in what manner the variables are declared. That in that case the like I'm showing example. So if I declare the variables in what manner I'm declaring variables, that same value will be taking here. So if I interchange values, the it will won't affect to the values, so whatever value is there. So if now I can change here, so he c I will change here, I will make b here. So but it will not change to the values, like now it will c value will be printing 20 here. So the order doesn't change here. So I will print now. So here I can print this is more specific. I'm printing some statement here. This is a values. So this is a values, and this is b values, and this is c values. So now you can notice here. So now c value becomes 20. So now here c value is 30. it should become 20. See, you can notice here C value is now is 20, because the variable is important here, the value defined is not important here. So whichever order you defined the variables, that sequentially it will take the those values. Now I'm going to explain you Python variable types. So here in Python there are two types of variables, like local variable and a global variable. Let us understand the local variables. Local variables are the variables that are declared inside the functions and that have the scope within that functions only. Uh, so I'll give one example for this local variable. So you can I will demonstrate here. You can check. So as of now, I'll comment these codes. So I'm declaring a function called. So I'll explain this the concept in further videos. Like to define the function, we are using the def keyword here. So I'm using def keyword followed by the function name. So I will use add as the function name here. So and that function ends with the colon here. So I'm declaring a equal to 10 and b equal to 20. These are the a and b are the local variables, and I'm printing the and I'm assigning c is equal to a plus b. So here what happens, this a plus b whatever operation is there, that operations will be performed and stored in the c variables. The result will be stored in c variables. Now I'm going to print that c values. So I will make some sum of a and sum of a and b is, and print in C. So print. So now next step is I have to call these functions. When we call the function, then only these function inside the whatever the there inside the function, that will be executed. If not called of that function, it will won't execute anything. So I will now show without calling the function. So it will not print anything because we are declaring function as a add though. So this add function should be called. When we call the function, then only the inside statement will be executed. So now I'll go and call that functions. So in Python, we need not to use any like a new, as in Java, we use the new keyword and all. But in Java, in Python, we only just call that function. That's it. No need to use any keyword here. So now I am calling this add function. So here I defined a function add. So I'm calling here with parentheses. So now inside this statement will be executed. So now you can notice here sum of a and b is 30. So this is the calling of function. This is calling function, and okay, this is calling function. These are the local variables. So I'm commenting for understanding purpose. So these a and b are the local variables. A and B are the local variables and performing the operations and storing in the C variable. So C is the temporary variable. So I stored that A B value for performed operations A and B by addition. Then I stored into C, and I'm printing that value. So this is the function. So here def is the keyword. Here def is keyword. So it is present in Python. So this def is a keyword used to declare the functions. So used to declare the functions, and add is the function name here. Okay. So add is the function name here. So I thought you got it. Now I'm going to explain you here the scope of the local variables, which means these local variables we can access within the functions. Like def add is the function name here. So these variables are accessible only within this functions area. Like, so if I use outside the function, so it will give the error. Like now I'm accessing that a variable I'm printing here, so it will give the error here because this function scope is inside the function only, hence it's called a local variable. So now if I run the program, so it's just def is a keyword used to declare function. Sorry, oh, I'm sorry, it's not commented here. Okay, here I'm missing that one. Now we can see a is not defined, so because this is the inside only declare inside, so this is a local variable. So to overcome this problem, we introduce the concept called global variables. Global variables, which means the variable which is declared outside the function or outside the function called global variable. And we use the keyword global here, and the variable the declared the variable declared outside the functions are by default globally. If functions declaring inside, that will be local variables. If we are declaring the variables outside the function, that becomes the global variables. And python, like in python, it provides the global keyword to use the global variables inside the functions. If I am using the global as a keyword and declaring the variables, that will consider as the global variable inside the functions also we can use. If we don't use the global keyword, then that function treats it as a local variable only. So now let us understand the examples here. So now I will demonstrate the example. Now I will demonstrate the usage of global variable. So I'll comment and write global global variable example. So this is the local variable example. So now we are completed local variable, and now I am moving to the global variables. So now I will define a variable is equal to 10. So this is the variable a, and now I am declaring functions called add. Now, now this a is equal to 10 becomes the global variable because this is the add functions. So I'm declaring that a equal to 10 variable outside the functions. Now, so now here I will use the global keyword. Global. You can see that if you types one two word, it will automatically prompt. So global of a, which means now this become this is a global. If I using instead also, that becomes also global variable. If not use this global keyword, so it considered as the local variable only. Now we can notice this print a. So if I print a and I will call that add function here, so you can notice here it will get to the, so result as 10. So now what happens here, you will understand here. If I not use this global as a keyword, it will consider as a only local variable. So if I use the keyword as a global, then it will consider as a local variables and it will be printing. See now, if I'll remove this global keyword, one second. Now it will treating as, now I'll use now I will demonstrate the global variables. Like global variables can be used throughout the programs, and like its scope is entire to the programs. And we can use the global keyword like a global variable inside or outside the function both. Like a variable declared outside the functions like that are default by global, and the Python provides like a global as a keyword. So if we are using the global keyword inside the functions, inside the functions, that will become the global variable. So if we do not use the global keyword, then that function treats as the it's as a local variable only. Now let us understand the global variable examples. So I'm declaring variable here. So x is equal to 10. I'm declaring and initializing value to the variable here. So x is the variable, and initialized value is 10 to the x variable. Now I'm going to define the functions. I'm defining the functions, add, then functions is followed by semicolon. Now I'm printing the global variables. So to print the global variable, we have to use the global keyword. So global of x. So now I'm printing the global variable and x. So now I will call that functions here. So add is the functions. Now you can able to see that I'm able to access the global variable. So if I remove this global keyword, so it will give the error here. Sorry. Now I'm going to modify this global variable x value. So now, so I will define x is equal to 20. So here x is equal to 10 as the global variable. I am modifying that x is equal to 10 global variable as 20. So now I am printing the values here. Print x. And now I am calling that functions here. So you can notice here we will get 10 and 20. So this is the global, this also global variable. By using global keyword we are accessing inside the functions, and this variable I'm modifying here. So that values I'm modifying to the 20 I am accessing. Like now I will going to access outside of the functions also. Global variables are like accessible outside functions as well. So now you can able to see that. So 10 and 20 and 10 will be the output. Sorry, 20 I reassigned modified here, sorry. So I modified to 20, so that's why I'm getting output as 10, 20, 20. So if I change values here, so it will be reflecting here. You can see, notice here. So 100 here I'm printing the global values. Here is I will getting 100. Now I'm changing that 100 value to the 20. So 20 I'm printing here, and I'm accessing that value here again. So here again change, no, that value only it is printing here. Yeah. So this is all about local and global variables. Next, I'm going to explain you delete delete variable. Like in Python, we have the keyword called del. So this keyword is used to delete the variables. Like syntax is delete and variable name. So this is the syntax for deleting variables. Now I'll make the heading here. You can understand properly. Deleting variables. So syntax is the del and variable name. Let's say I'll give one example here. So a is equal to 10. Sorry, okay, a is equal to 1, and I'll printing that variable a. So now I will get output as 1. Okay, now I'm deleting this variable. So keyword is delete, del, del of a. Now I deleted the a variable. See, now after deleting I will print the variable a. So it will give us error because that variable is not present. So it will give the name that a is not defined because that variable is defined deleted. So you can see here, so a is not defined because that variable is deleted.